Okay, excited to be here. We got 3 of our players here that's really team leaders. I'm excited for them. They're going to do a great job. I will tell you this, I think I've been on the first day. The last 3 years, it's completely different on the last day. So looks like there's not quite as many people in here.
Okay, raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you for the Q&A. Coach, right here to the left with our first question.
Coach, I'm wondering, Daniel Carlson, obviously an outstanding kicker. I wonder if you could just talk about him both as a player and a person.
Yeah, as a player, he's got to be one of the best kickers to ever come through the league. He's a huge weapon. Anytime from 55 yards in, there's a high likelihood you're going to have 3 points, and he can even go back farther than that. He's a huge weapon in the kickoff department. He almost eliminates the return, so he's a huge weapon. But he's even a better person. I think it says a lot about a kicker is one of your team leaders, but that's truly who he is, and he's earned that. And he's a huge weapon. I mean, he's a huge weapon. I'm excited we have him.
Coach, our next question is in the back rear under the lights on the right.
Hey, Coach. Mary Lee Adams, WDHN Dothan, over here. I believe 8 returning on the offense this year. How big of a confidence booster is that?
Well, of course, we had our 6-game winning streak, and we were playing very good football, on the offensive side during that side. And, we had some injuries to our quarterback, and then, of course, Cameron Petway, and we really never recovered. So the good thing is we have a veteran offensive line. We have our 2 main running backs back. We've got a group of receivers that were all, for the most part, freshmen and redshirt freshmen last year, and they were still kind of learning. In the spring, they kind of took that next step, so I'm really looking forward to watching that group. And then, of course, that I've talked about earlier is we got 2 veteran-type quarterbacks that are in a battle. We have quarterback depth for the first time, really, in the last few years, and so that's a really strong comfort. And then, of course, Chip Lindsey, our new offensive coordinator, I've got a lot of confidence in him. He's going to do a super job, so we got a chance to be pretty good on offense.
Coach, our next question here from center left.
Hey, Coach,
Joe Whalen.
ABC Birmingham, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Do you have a timetable in mind as far as determining a starting quarterback, and is it important to do that sooner or later?
It definitely is, sooner rather than later. Last year we let it drag out too long. I mean, we got to do that sooner, but at the same time we want to make sure we're thorough, and usually the first 5 days of fall camp is a lot of install. You can still evaluate with the 7-on-7s and the team reps and all that, but there's nothing like a scrimmage type deal. And so hopefully we don't have a set date and time, but me and Chip are on the same page about earlier rather than later.
Coach, next question here in the center on the right.
Hey, Coach, Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV. What were the emotions at the end of last year's LSU game there after that last play?
Yeah, that was a wild one. First of all, LSU's a great team. It went back and forth. I think Daniel Carlson kicked 6 field goals, and that last play, they were trying to get it off, and they scored, and they celebrated. But I felt real strong that the clock had went out, but you just got to be patient and you wait. And, that was a huge win for us at the time.
And just your thoughts of going to Baton Rouge this year. It's always been a tough place to play.
Yeah, the last numerous times we've been there, we hadn't had a lot of luck. We're going to have to play extremely well. They're a very talented team, and we're going to have to figure out a way to win that.
Coach, over to the far left on the front.
Justin McGill with WSFA. A lot of talk on the offense, but I want to focus on the defense for a bit. In particular, Daniel Thomas. How have you kind of seen his progression, especially since the Iron Bowl where he had a breakout game?
Daniel Thomas really had an outstanding year, not just on defense, but he helped us on special teams too. You can tell that this spring was good for him too. And, he has got a nose for the ball, and I call him a heat-seeking missile. I mean, he just goes 100%, and he will be in the mix for us defensively.
Okay, next question, Coach, on the right.
Hey, Coach, Jesse Merrick, Wade TV up in Huntsville. I know you've obviously got Cam Petway and Kerryon Johnson, but specifically with Kerryon, how do you see his role being expanded in this new offense?
Yeah, a good question. Chip really worked hard in the spring to get the ball to our running backs in the passing game a little bit more than we have in the past. Of course, Kerryon Johnson has receiver-like skills, and so the versatility that he has. I know Coach Lindsey's got a great plan for him. He catches the ball well. He runs the ball well, and he's probably our best protector too.
Okay, Coach, in the back left.
Coach, Noah Mandel, WTVY_Dothan. Where does Sean White's health status going into the fall camp?
Yeah, Sean White's 100%. You know, he's doing everything in the weight room. He's doing everything running-wise and all that. And he's ready to compete. He's got a great attitude. He's just biting, you know, chomping at the bit to get out there and compete in fall camp.
Rick, Carly, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, Rick Carly at Fox 6. How do you personally deal with expectations? A lot of fans are buzzing about your team this year and thinking, man, this is going to be the year.
Yeah.
And so much of the career of a coach just is based on wins and losses. How do you deal with expectations and pressure, knowing that you got to perform?
Yeah, well, first of all, that's the kind of jobs you want, that have high expectations. And Auburn's a place that expects to win championships, and I feel the same way. The good thing is this year we got a real chance. Now we got to seize the moment. We play a tough schedule. You got to win close games and everything that goes with it. But it is what it is, and it's a good thing from a coach's standpoint that you have a team that has an opportunity to do something special. So from a coaching staff, we got to seize the moment. From a player standpoint, we got to seize the moment, and I'm looking forward to watching this team.
Coach, over on the far right against the wall.
Right here. Hey, Coach. Sarah Hodges, Way 31 in Huntsville. Malik Miller, your running back, freshman running back, received a medical red shirt. How big is that for Auburn's future?
You know, that's big. He's a very talented young man, and you saw last year when he got the ball, he did some positive things, and it was unfortunate that he got hurt. But the good thing is, you know, he'll be back this year. He had a very good spring. You know, he's competing for playing time in that running back position, and the good thing is we have a lot of guys that we feel like can play, and he's one of them.
Coach, next question here far left.
Coach Michael Cowell out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We talked about the LSU game last year, kind of a buyout bowl. You know, like something was going to happen with that ball game. And now people are picking you or maybe the Iron Bowl to decide the West. Could you speak to just how quickly things can turn around and fortune can swing in your way?
Well, I mean, we're playing in the toughest league in college football in the West, and you gotta win close games. You're at a place like Auburn or any of the other places, you know, they expect to win championships. And like I said earlier, I expect to too. So just the competition part, and it's a man's league, and you got to win.
Okay, next question. I think we're in the back right.
Coach Colin Deaver from College Station. It's kind of an interesting trend in the series with Texas A&M. The road team has actually won every single game since A&M joined the SEC. Why do you think that home teams have so much trouble when you guys play?
You know, that's a good question, and that's really rare. You know, I'd take you back to 2 years, I guess 3 years ago. Boy, we lost a tough one. We fumbled on the 1 yard line going in and ended up fumbling on the last drive and lost. That was a huge loss for us. And, of course, this past year was a tough one early, but they were extremely good on defense, and I think Garrett was healthy then too. But when we went there, we played very well. So, you know, that's a good question. That's rare. You know, I hope it stays the same this year.
Okay, Coach, I think we have another question here on the left back.
He's reading.
Yes,
something.
there we are.
Aslan Hodges at CBS Dothan. Coach, most of the people around the nation got to know you 2013 season, fist bumping and being so excited on the sideline. We might not have seen so much of that in the last few years. Trey Matthews says he's seen you change, though, this past offseason, more calm, cool, collected. How have you changed in the last year as a coach and a man? Yeah,
you know, I said earlier that this will be my 5th year to be a coach at Auburn in this league, and I've learned some things. And, you know, I brought up and made my name in coaching on the offensive side of the football, and you know, probably 2 years ago it just kind of got to a point where it's tough to do both, be the coordinator and the head coach, and I kind of played around with it. And then finally last year I felt real strong to turn the offense over, and it was the right move to make. And then after this season, or after last season, just set back, and that's where I am in my career right now, and I'm at peace with that. And it's the right thing to do. And I've got a lot of confidence in Chip Lindsey. We come from the same tree. He's a high school coach. He was with me in 2013 in an off-the-field role, but he was really my right-hand man in that off-the-field role. So we have a great relationship. He's great with quarterback development, and he inherited a pretty talented offense.
Coach, next question here in the center right.
Coach Todd Summers, WSPA TV. Talk about Game 2, going to Clemson to play the defending national champs, and what you learned about that Tigers team playing them very early on last year.
Well, if you look at the big picture of the whole schedule, I mean, that's one early, the defending national champs playing on the road. It's going to be a huge game. It's going to be a huge game to really show where we're at. And I know our players and our coaches are looking forward to it. And that was a tough loss last year. We had them at home and just didn't play well, and had some missed opportunities. And so, we'll be motivated for that one.
Coach, next question here, the left center.
Steve Gunner against Montgomery. I believe in the main room you called Marlon Davidson a guy as a freshman last year, played like a veteran. Trey Matthews said he was a freak of nature. How much better can he be going into his true sophomore year?
Well, what he did last year as a true freshman, I hadn't seen very many people in my time that was been able to mentally deal with everything that he did. He's very talented, but mentally he didn't act like a freshman. So he's one of those guys that's capable of taking that next step and just being a complete dominant player. I think he's got a chance. He had a great spring. He's had a good off season. So we're really hoping he takes that next step.
Coach, we're now on the risers on the right side.
Coach Brandon Cameron, WVUA 23. You were talking in the other room a little bit about the talk about moving to the East, and I know you said it was slightly blown out of proportion, but you were talking about why you like playing in the West. Can you kind of expand on that a little bit?
Well, I mean, the West is the best league in college football, and what is it, 6, 7 years, I don't know, maybe more than that, the winner of the West has won the SEC. Just from a competitive standpoint, from a coach's standpoint, and I'm not the only one, the rest of them probably would say the same, you like playing in the best league and playing the best competition. And there's something to be said for that. So that's kind of what I was saying.
Coach, will stay on the back on the right side.
Chris Burry, CBS in Birmingham. Also heard you say in the other room, haven't felt this way since 2013. What do you mean by that?
Well, I meant from our team standpoint, our team is hungry. They wasn't happy the way that the season ended. And we went on that 6-game winning streak, and we felt like we had a real chance to do something special last year, and we wasn't able to do that. So I know our players are hungry, they're motivated, they've got that chip on their shoulder, and what I was doing is I was comparing that I really hadn't felt this way about a team really since 2013.
Okay, Coach, over here to the far left.
Coach Saul, Professor Junior, Alabama Center. Would you say that player development, more point, quarterback development has been a shortfall of Auburn of late, and you look for that to be improved this season to have the next guy up ready if called upon?
Well, I think like I said earlier, this year I can tell you we have quality quarterback depth. That was our Achilles heel the last 2 years. When our starter went down, we didn't perform very well. So that's going to be a big key. And I should mention Malik Willis too, a true freshman that really caught my eye in spring. I think he's got a chance to be an excellent quarterback.
Okay, Coach, right here in the center.
Coach, you talked about giving up the play calling duties. How hard is that to do if the offense struggles? How hard is that for you to stay the course and not sort of take it back over?
Well, I'm all in with Chip Lindsey. He's going to do a great job. And, we have a chance to be a very good offense. And if you look back traditionally, when we've had quality depth at the quarterback position, we've been one of the best in our league, if not the country. So, I have nothing but confidence, in him, and he's going to do a great job.
Moving over here to the far left, Coach.
Kind of in that same vein, Ed Ogeron said the one thing he wanted to do different in his second term was trust his coaches and let them coach. Hugh was just in here talking about turning those radios. Yeah. You mentioned, is it trust? Is that the biggest?
Yeah, there's no doubt it's a trust. And, like I said, you're in this league and you're a head coach. I don't care who you are, there's going to be a learning curve. And the transition of calling plays and being the offense coordinator, trying to be the head coach, there's been a little bit of this. But I'm to the point now where, like I said, the big thing with me with Chip Lindsey is I trust him. And he's going to do a great job.
Do we have one over here on the right? No? Okay, here we are to the left front.
I'll ask you about another guy that's developing in his progress, Jalen Harris, and how big of a role he played blocking in as a receiver.
Yeah, Jalen Harris, you know, the spring, he may have been one of the most improved players in the spring. Larry Porter came in, has done a super job with Jalen. He's really matured. You know, you saw in the spring game he had a catch or two, and I think that's one area too. Not only Chip wants to throw the ball to the backs a little bit more, but he wants to get the tight end more involved. And so, you know, I'm real proud of Jalen. He's set up to have a solid year.
Coach, we're over here to the left rear.
Where does John Franklin now kind of fit in on this team? What's going to be his role?
Yeah, John Franklin is going to play wide receiver, and we made that move, you know, in spring. I mean, he is super fast in pads, probably one of the fastest guys there is, and so I'm excited about him. He's also going to be a big part of special teams. We worked extremely hard in the return game in spring with him, but you know, he's the type of guy that we got to figure out a way to get him on the field more, and really get the ball in his hands in open space too.
Coach, back far right under the lights. Well, maybe not. Okay. Where are we? Right here, Coach, the center left.
Coach, with John Franklin, you know, he came to Auburn as obviously as a quarterback, fair amount of notoriety around him. What is that conversation like when you sit him down and talk about the position change?
Well, first of all, John is a wonderful person. He has been a true blessing to coach since he's been at Auburn. And, you know, he wanted to play quarterback. But at the end of the day, he wants to help the team any way he can. And it was one of those real honest conversations. I want to help the team. I'll go to wide receiver. I want to play special teams. And, you know, John's one of our team leaders, and he's earned that. And so I'm really excited for him, and I think he's set up to have a very good year.
We've got time for two more questions up here on the riser on the right here.
Hey, Coach. You got that 4-star safety recruit, Kandarius, on Monday, and he picked you all over schools like Alabama and Clemson. Why do you think he went with Auburn?
Say that one more time.
The 4-star safety recruit, the commit that you got on Monday, why do you think he chose Auburn over?
Yeah, I can't talk specifically about a recruit, you know, but I will tell you, you know, recruiting's going very well. We think we are set up to have a big-time class, and so I'm excited about the future.
Coach, final question over here on the left rear.
Taylor Tannenbaum, WHNC in Huntsville. I know Jordan Peters came a little bit earlier in the summer. How have you seen him develop so far, and do you see him having a role this upcoming fall?
Well, he's going to have an opportunity. He's got a skill set. I know Coach Steele and Coach Brown are very high on him as far as what he's done so far and his attitude. So I'm really looking forward to watching him in fall camp. You know, he'll have a chance to compete and could possibly even help us on special teams.
Coach, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you all.